Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas on a 4th of July weekend. It's baseball and it's fun. And welcome to Astros baseball with the Boston Red Sox, everybody, on this July 4th weekend. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. Maybe not so much fun last night for the Astros, the way the Red Sox came roaring back with 6 in the 7th inning, but it's a fresh day, JD.
It was mostly fun. Bud Norris really in control of that game. Then it all went wrong in the late innings tonight. The pitching matchup is a rather tall one. 6'7" Andrew Miller against 6'6" Jay Happ. Miller, the former first-round pick of the Tigers, has really battled control problems throughout his career, most of which has been spent in the minor leagues. When he's throwing strikes, he can be awfully tough. Jay Happ, he has struggled, of course, just 3-9 so far this year, but at home, a little better, 2-4 with a 4.15 ERA.
Coming up on a Saturday night at Minute Maid Park, Jeff Bagwell joins us for the telecast tonight. We'll be back with Game 2 of this 3-game series in just a moment.
Car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. This is Interleague Baseball. It's the Red Sox and the Astros. And as we get set for the action, Bill Brown, Jim DeShays, and Jeff Bagwell are in the booth.
Thank you, Greg. As you see the sunlight streaming in, Jay Happ is ready for Jacoby Ellsbury to get in the box at Minute Maid Park. It's Game 2 of a 3-game series. The Astros 1-6 on this homestand. We need some Saturday night karma, Jeff Bagwell.
Hey, I'm trying.
All right, you're the guy tonight.
Yeah, we haven't even started yet, but I'm trying.
First pitch to Ellsbury, and it is strike one. Corey Blazer's the home plate umpire. Yes, it is. And Jay's really been working on that delivery. As you know, Baggy, with some little extra time between starts. He came out through a simulated game a few days ago.
Yeah, I was talking to Broke before the game. He really is working very hard. I know he's probably not exactly happy with the way things have gone so far, but a guy like J.A. is going to put his time in and get his work done and just try and get better.
It's so important when you're going through a patch like he is to get off to a good start. if you can come out here and have a clean inning, have command of his pitches, and kind of build on that, you really have to just shrink it. Probably the same thing when you're scuffling if you're going through a long over. Just get a knock, hit the ball hard somewhere.
You know, sometimes it's not even hitting the ball hard; it's just getting a knock.
Yeah, just have a positive result.
Well, last time out against Tampa Bay in that 14-10 Tampa Bay win on Sunday, the Rays got to him for 3 in the first inning on a homer by Upton. Jays 3-9, and that one's inside for all 3.
Well, I like that right there. You know, he's trying to get in there with the 2-2 pitch and trying to establish nothing. You know, just it's very easy as a hitter. You just start looking away. But now he was trying to get in there, and I think that's big. But obviously, Jimmy, that we talked about this a second ago, it's not quite the start he wanted. Walking the first guy.
No.
Jacoby Ellsbury is the leadoff man and center fielder. He's followed by second baseman Dustin Pedroia with Adrian Gonzalez in right field tonight. Kevin Youkilis plays third. David Ortiz gets the call at first base. Jared Saltalamacchia is the catcher with Darnell McDonald in left. Marcos Cudero the shortstop. Andrew Miller the pitcher. Pedroia broke the tie last night with a 2-run single as the Red Sox put 6 up on the board in the 7th inning. And they won at 7-5. There's strike 1. Pedroia 272.
These American League lineups are just so tough. They just keep coming at you. You just got to be, you got to be precise, and you got to make your pitches. You're not going to. It's just tough to face these guys 3 or 4 times through the lineup.
That's what we saw last night.
Yeah.
1-1. In fact, Bud Norris gave up a leadoff homer. That was the only hit he allowed through the first 6 innings, and then the 6th spot hit in the 7th.
I remember, some of the teams that we've had in the past. You felt like you were going to get to the pitcher at some point, whether it was the 1st inning, 3rd inning, or the 6th inning.
Backhanded Barmas with a long throw from the hole and safe at first now. Here's Carlos Lee unable to get that ball to 3rd in time for the out there on Ellsbury, who alertly saw the ball get away from Lee and went from 2nd to 3rd base. So a hit for Pedroia and an error on Lee, allowing Ellsbury to go from 2nd to 3rd.
A big high chopper just beyond the reach of Johnson, and then Barmas with the off balance throw. Carlos coming off the bag and trying to apply a sweep tag to Pedroia. And the ball hit Pedroia in the leg before Carlos could even get leather on it.
And now the Major League RBI leader steps up, Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah, and that sought after good starts in jeopardy here. 2 base runners, and now the best RBI man in Major League Baseball steps up.
And it takes ball 1. Gonzalez last night really looked bad. His first 3 times up, and then he ripped a 2-run double in the 7th inning.
That ball's a strike.
Yeah, it sure was.
He's hit lefties well. One and 1 to Gonzalez. Glittering numbers, as you saw up on the screen. In addition to that, he leads the American League in hits and total bases. Just exactly what the Red Sox had hoped for. Lefties are hitting .328 against Happ.
Gonzalez has bounced into a bunch of double plays this year. File that under the category of wishful thinking. Doesn't hurt.
No. Let's keep that karma going. 332 at bats already.
Yeah. And he's getting his 2nd start in right field in interleague play. Pulls that one through the hole, and an RBI single for Gonzalez makes it 1-0 Boston. 74 runs batted in for Agon. And Youkilis. Red Sox fans are out in big numbers chanting his name.
Red Sox Nation making its way to Minute Maid Park. No offense, Uke, but your stance is worse than mine.
Yeah.
Check this out. 55 runs batted in with his stance, Baggy.
Yeah, I know. He's a heck of a player. He really is, and he's a heck of a hitter. And comes into the category of there's one way to do it, everybody would do it. So it's whatever's comfortable for him.
What makes it fun to watch games.
Sure does.
It's not a cookie cutter type situation for hitting.
I'd love to know the evolution of how he got to this point. You know, he didn't just roll out of bed one morning and say, here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I'm going to split my hands way up.
Point the bat at the pitcher.
Yeah.
Over at the top of my head.
But it works. And he's got like 2 fingers on that bat.
It's unique.
Well, you know, I was talking to somebody about golf the other day, which I kind of bring up every Saturday that I get here. But I mean, think about back in the day, there was, you know, guys had their own stuff. You know, you had Nicklaus, you had Palmer, you had Player, all that. In golf now, you see a lot of cookie cutter type swings. And that's one thing in baseball that has never changed. Everybody's unique.
Liner to left. That's in for a hit in front of Michaels. And the bases are loaded now. On the single by Euclid, and 4 straight Red Sox players have reached base. Big Papi, David Ortiz will be next.
Well, this is what we were talking about earlier. Jay Happ right now, he has to really battle the mentality of, oh my goodness, here I go again. I mean, the hitters he's up against are too good. You just got to stay mentally tough and try to make pitches.
He's lost 5 in a row. Facing Ortiz now. He struck out as a pinch hitter last night. 355 with the bases loaded. 9 grand slams for Ortiz.
We've talked about this before. This is damage control right now. Somehow find a way to get out of here, only giving up 2 runs. 1 maybe, but 2, you know, that would be fine.
That would be, if he gets out of this inning having allowed just 2, that's a win from this point forward.
Ortiz is making his second start at first base. Started Wednesday at Philadelphia for the first time this year. Had 4 starts at first all of last year, and he is the DH and one of the best ever. Red Sox are second in runs scored in the American League with 423. Foul away, and it's no balls, 2 strikes to Ortiz.
Ortiz not in the lineup last night with the right-hander Norris on the mound, but with the lefty, he does get the nod tonight. And he's hit well against left-handed pitching this year. The power numbers not as good as they are against righties, but the batting average is fine.
Got in there, and it's fouled away. You saw the catcher told set up inside, but Ortiz was able to turn on it. Fernando Abad threw a good changeup to get him out last night. Jay Happ has started 1 game in his career against Boston, didn't get a decision, gave up 5 runs in 5 2/3 innings.
Oh, good pitch.
93 with a little cutting action there. The 0-2 swing he put on that inside fastball, if you're pitching, that's a little unsettling because as a pitcher you tell yourself 0-2, well the hitter's, he's got to protect soft, he's got to protect away. He shouldn't be able to turn on my inside fastball, and that's precisely what Ortiz did. It kind of gets you scratching your head a little bit when you're out there on the mound.
2-2 now.
This lineup just keeps coming at you. It really does.
Red Sox are 17 and 11 in games started by lefties. Astros out hit them last night 13-8, but Boston won 7-5. Now it's 3-2. Like a Jeff Bagwell at bat.
Well, and that's Ortiz that's his game. He draws a lot of walks, a lot of deep counts.
He's just a good hitter. He just really is.
From 0-2 to 3-2.
These situations obviously do not affect David at all.
2-0 Boston. Ortiz throwing his 36th walk, and he gets RBI number 49.
Yeah, I was going to say, come on, bro, get out there.
The Red Sox do this routinely, as you pointed out, Jeff. And last night, they drew 9 walks compared to none for the Astros hitters, and this is how they make a pitcher work so hard.
No doubt. You know, it's a little different, but a walk a lot of times. I mean, what's the difference between a single and a walk? I mean, you basically get into the same base, unless obviously there's somebody on base, but they just keep wearing you down, and wearing you down.
Jared Saltalamacchia had a hit and drew 2 walks last night. Switch hitting catcher at .406 for his career with the bases loaded and 2 grand slams, 2 for 3 with the bases loaded this season. That's strike 1 to Saltalamacchia.
A little bit more tonight on his fastball, JD, or does he think he's just mad?
Well, a little of both, and then maybe the message from Broke might have been, okay, let's just be an athlete and compete, get after it. That's the other thing that happens when you're going bad. You start to, everything becomes very thoughtful. You're worried about your mechanics and your pitch selection and your location, and sometimes when you get pushed into that corner, you just got to fight your way out.
Well, I think the correct word you said was compete. I'm not saying that J.A. doesn't ever compete. I mean, he obviously competes every single night out, but this is a big situation.
1-2. The Red Sox have been a good road team this year, 22-16 away from Fenway.
They're just a good team, Brownie.
Yeah, they're good anywhere, aren't they?
Yeah, they sure are.
They're currently 2.5 behind the Yankees before today, and the Yankees won today 5-2 over the Mets. Ground ball third. Johnson to second. Sanchez to first. Gonzalez comes in to make it 3-0, but the Astros get 2 outs. Euclid to third base.
An interesting play here. Ball sharply hit at CJ, and this is the kind of play you rehearse before it's hit you. Where am I going to go if the ball's hit to my right, to my left, right at me? And that's a play. That's the play. You're talking about cleaning up the inning and damage control. As a pitcher, you're always thinking home, cut off that run. But the manager would say, let's just get 2 outs.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. The situation right there is, are we going to score enough runs to deal with the 3-0 lead, or should I come home and try and get the double play the other way?
Darnell McDonald takes ball 1.
But I agree with you, Jimmy. The pitcher's thinking go home.
Yeah, pitcher's always wants that infield in, always wants the ball going home. And I think too that's a play that you talk about it and you would know better than I, but it seems to me like you mentally rehearse the play if it's balls hit to the side
doubt,
and if it's hit to me. But sometimes the instincts kick in and you go, wait a minute, I can get 2 going this way. I can go home and we could still get Saltalamacchia at first base.
Well, I think if CJ was probably playing in towards the grass a little bit more, maybe the play was at home. I mean, obviously he had him out right there at home. But we'll take the 2 outs right now.
Have you ever changed your mind after you got the ball on a play like that? Decided, I can go home.
Well, no, not really. I mean, it's like Jimmy said. You kind of rehearse it before it even happens. Okay, this is what I want to do in this situation, or I'm the cutoff man in this situation, and you kind of have to do it. And if the ball sharply hit at me, but I say no, but maybe I have. And just said, you know what, I'm going home. But you got to make sure you're going to get 2 outs in that play.
Right. That's driven out to right center field. Hunter Pence backing on it. And the Red Sox put up a 3 spot on 3 hits. They leave a man. They lead it 3-0. leading it off, and he's on a 10-game hitting streak and playing center field. It's Angel Sanchez at second base. Hunter Pence in right field. Carlos Lee at first base tonight. In left field, Jason Michaels. At third base, Chris Johnson. Clint Farmas at shortstop, putting on quite a surge. Then it's J.R. Tolles and Jay Happ.
Andrew Miller, big lefty, goes for the Red Sox tonight. 6'7", hard thrower, former first-round pick, 6th pick overall in the 2006 draft by the Detroit Tigers. High expectations for him when he entered professional ball, but control problems have really plagued him throughout his career. A very funky, herky-jerky delivery, and at times just has no idea where the ball is going.
That's refreshing if you're Michael Bourne. Michael hits a fly ball to left center field. Outfielders are backing up, and that one is in play deep into left center. And it's in play for a triple for Michael Bourne.
That's good base running right there.
7th triple of the year for Michael. An 11-game hitting streak.
I don't like this crowd up.
Well, that's a play right there where not only is Michael fast, but that ball coming back to the infield like that is going to be a very, very difficult play for the left fielder to pick the ball up and to make an accurate throw to third base. You watch how he has to come that way. It's very difficult to make a good throw that way. And as you see, he didn't. Of course, it helps to be Michael Bourne on too.
With the 3-0 lead. Infield back. Angel Sanchez, the batter. And up the middle. RBI single for the former Red Sox infielder. Sanchez makes it 3-1. RBI number 22.
And that does a ton for the confidence down in the dugout right now. Is that, you know, you give up 3. It's not the way you wanted to start the game out, and all of a sudden to come back and then 2 hitters were already got to run back. So that makes that dugout, you know, not fun. You're still down by 2 runs, but it certainly uplifts your feelings.
Especially after the way they lost last night's game.
Exactly, yes.
Having that lead and a comfortable lead, and it felt like a win, and all of a sudden it turned into a loss. And you got the extra dynamic of all the Red Sox fans in the ballpark making noise, and now the Astro fans have responded.
Hunter Pence wants to keep that going. Taking ball 1. He's on a 6-game hitting streak. 318, 9 homers, 55 runs batted in. He's on a pace to drive in 106 for the year. 2 hits and 2 runs batted in for Hunter last night. Carlos Lee's on deck. Saltalamacchia stopped it. It's ball 2.
For Miller, it's fastball, curveball, changeup. The Astros have seen him a couple of times. He made a start against the Astros last year for the Marlins.
Right, yes. Well, we're off to a good start, too. This is encouraging. We got 2-0 with our best hitter up there right now. Already got a run in.
Miller beat the Pirates last time out with a well-pitched game. Gave up 1 earned run in 6 innings and won it 4-2 on Sunday at Pittsburgh.
And this is where, as you're a hitter, you know a guy has control problems. Obviously, Barney's talked to everybody going into the game about, you know, he walks some guys and all that, but you just got to really, really focus and make sure you're getting a strike to swing at, which Hunter did right there and had a good swing at.
He takes, and it's 3-1 now. Miller started the season at AAA Pawtucket and hits. It's Jose Reyes leading, 124.
He's having a hell of a year, isn't he? Boy.
Came out of the game today with a hammy.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah.
Foul ball. Alex Rodriguez called him what? The best player in baseball yesterday?
Mm-hmm. Best player in the world.
Best player in the world.
Wow.
Okay.
That's high praise.
Yes, it is. Covers Japan, Venezuela, Chile, a lot of
the whole world.
Yeah.
I think A-Rod maybe was hoping somebody would go, no, you are.
I guarantee you that's what he was thinking.
It was funny. Brian Cashman said, no, Robinson Cano is.
3-2 pitch whacked up the middle into center field. That ball jumped off his bat. And now the Astros tattoo some balls. 3 straight hits for them.
Game on.
7-game hitting streak for Hunter Pence. You're right. Settle in, folks. Go out and get a pizza or something. We'll still be going when you get back.
Start the pig roast.
Yes, sir. Some good at bats, some good pitches to hit, and these guys know what to do with them. Now it's Carlos' lead. Carlos with 45 runs batted in, has 7 homers, a .270 batting average, a couple of long balls on this homestand. He's driven in runs in 6 games in a row now. Last time he had 6 straight RBIs was in 08. 6 straight games. Taking ball 1.
Well, as JD would know, it's very difficult to pitch behind in the count all the time, and that's the only problem that Andrew probably has a little bit. If he does get behind in the count, it has to come to the hitters.
Throws a little bit across his body. And the storyline last year when we saw him, people in Florida were telling us, because when he signed, he threw like 97. But he was down around 91, 92 last year, and they said that was by design. They were trying to get him to sink the ball a little bit and not try to overpower the ball and throw more strikes. The velocity back up a little bit in his 2 starts with Boston this year.
Carlos to left field. McDonald back with the grab. The runners retreat, 1 out.
He signed a very interesting deal, Miller did. He signed a minor league deal with the Sox. But he's out of options. So they signed him to a vesting option for $3 million if he were to get claimed on waivers. So basically that gives them the freedom to send him up and down from the minor leagues this year as much as they want, because highly unlikely that anybody's going to grab him for $3 million and put him on their roster. So, yeah, it is. It's a bit of a loophole.
I'm surprised the union would allow that.
Yeah. Jason Michaels, the batter. J. Mike had a very good game in his last start.
But yeah, in the story I read on, apparently Miller was on board with it because he wanted that. Yeah, because sometimes if you don't have that, you just stay in Pawtucket. You just stay in the minor leagues because the club's fearful of bringing you up for a couple of starts because they know they're going to have to send you down. This way he gets a little big league time and gets a chance to showcase what he can do.
Okay.
Otherwise, they might have just left him in AAA all year.
1-1. Clay Buchholz is injured right now. Miller getting his 3rd start with the Red Sox tonight.
That's interesting. I've never heard anything like that.
No, it's the first I've heard of it.
One ball, 2 strikes. When Michaels was in the lineup Thursday against Texas in the 7-0 Houston win, he had an RBI double and a 2-run homer. Rangers started a lefty, Matt Harrison, that night.
And that fly ball to left right there, that's borderline for Sanchi to get back and tag on that ball.
Wondered about that.
Well, it's just, I mean, the play's right in front of you. You kind of get a feeling off the bat of, is that ball going to get over his head or whatever? And he didn't, it wasn't like he was striding back and, made an over the shoulder catch or anything like that. It's kind of borderline, and it's tough. And it was a line drive, so it's a tough spot. But it's borderline.
Top of shortstop. Scudero shoveling, and Pedroia goes up and over. And that's a double play to end the Astros first. They settle for 1 run on 3 hits and leave a man, and it's 3-1 Boston. 3-1 after one.
And that looks nothing like Brett Myers, by the way.
That's a different pose, though. You got to.
he just had it going. Just
yeah, he did.
It's almost like my statue outside. It doesn't look anything like me.
Marco Scudero takes strike one from Jay Happ.
And the biggest thing about my statue that doesn't look anything like me is Bish throwing me a ball chest high.
All right. It's only the second inning and you got it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sometimes you keep us waiting till about the 6th.
I know. I apologize.
There it is. There's that bobblehead.
There it is. That is not attractive.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Scudero led off the game with a homer last night, going 1 for 5. Now batting in the 8th spot for this game, but Ellsbury was out last night with a bad stomach.
And Jeff Keppinger continues to struggle with his health.
Yes, he does. And Brad Mills explained that tonight to the media. He said, well, last night Jeff was feeling a little bit better, but he was unable to do any of the pregame activity, so we didn't want to send him out there without any kind of batting practice or taking grounders or any of that. Broken bat roller. Sanchez takes care of out number 1. And Keppinger was able to do the normal pregame routine today. But he also mentioned he'd like to have Angel get another game, so that's the way it works out for both guys. And we would expect to see Keppinger in there tomorrow.
I was talking to him before BP, and he was still hurt, boy. He's very little energy.
Not good. Well, Josh Beckett will be on the mound tomorrow for Boston. Andrew Miller at 0.57 for his career. So get well soon, Jeff.
Yeah, there's a guy you're in a hurry to come back and face.
Kepi doesn't care.
He's good competitive.
Yes, he is.
Beckett has a 2.20 ERA, second best in the American League. Jordan Lyles pitches tomorrow for Houston. 2 balls and a strike to Miller. That'll be the finale for the Astros on this homestand. It starts at 1:05, then on to Pittsburgh. 2-2.
I like our side of this matchup right here.
Yeah.
Especially right now. Little cutter, slider, something like this. Fastball away.
Miller is down on strikes.
I am such a great analyst.
Let's go to Greg Lucas.
Hey, baseball fans, Chevy is proud to support youth baseball leagues in the local community. If you'd like to learn more about Chevy youth baseball programs, go to youthsportswired.com. There's some youths right there.
Yeah.
They might be related.
You're good too, buddy.
Jacoby Ellsbury led off the game with a walk and scored. There's strike 1 to him. A leadoff guy who has now scored 56 runs this year, so doing an excellent job of getting on base. But he has power as well.
9 homers.
Dave Magadan says he may have more pop in his bat than anybody on their club.
Really? That's surprising.
Yeah, it sure is. Well, look at Gonzalez and Big Poppy.
Obviously, Mags has not been paying attention during BP.
That one rolls out to Carlos. Sounded like a broken bat. He gets it to Jay Happ. And Jay has a regrouping 1-2-3 second. 3-1 Red Sox. games now. Batting average .248, 6 homers. He's driven in 34. Looking at ball one. Once again today before BP, Chris and Ron Johnson were standing there around the cage having a family chat.
I think he's rooting for him to maybe hit a double and get thrown out at second.
Maybe.
Or third.
Pedroia takes care of out number one. Yeah, Ron made it clear it's all business, and Chris signed on to that. But of course, it's got to be a special thrill to see your son play, even if it is all business.
I said you can hit a single and go to second and get thrown out. Win-win situation for both.
Yes. Clint Barmas has changed his hand positioning a little bit, and the results have been dramatic. 5-game hitting streak, 10 for 19, 2 for 4, 2 doubles last night. Strike to Clint, and he and Mike Barnett were explaining before the game, and he's pushed his hands a little bit further back.
Right.
You notice things like that back.
Yeah, and it seems like he's trying to feel the barrel a little bit too. You can see him kind of pushing the bat also, like kind of forward to try and feel the barrel, to try and get swinging down on the ball a little bit more than swinging around it.
Barney explained that Clint was trying to be really relaxed and keep his hands close to his body. They've changed that approach. And there's a breaking ball for a strikeout. Number one.
Tough pitch right there.
Yes, it
good,
was.
Good pitch.
So Miller gets the first two.
A good hard breaking ball. The stuff is there for Miller. Always has been. Last time out, they say he had a real good changeup. Perhaps he was rushed to the big leagues. I think he came to the big leagues the very first year.
I think he did too, Jimmy. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. In 06, he was up with Detroit for 8 games.
I don't know if I'd back off to 97 though if I had.
No,
it.
yeah.
189 for J.R. Tolles with 3 homers. J.R. looks at ball one. And Miller was the Clemens Award winner in 06. Signed a big contract after being the 6th player drafted, as J.D. mentioned, by Detroit that year. And then things didn't come together quickly, but he was traded to Florida after the 07 season.
Right.
And still 3-5 that first year, 1-5 the second year with Florida with high ERAs.
26 years of age, so certainly still has time to figure it out and have a nice major league career. There was a fella with the Dodgers by the name of Koufax. It took a little while for him to kind of settle in.
And then he decided to win 4 straight Cy Youngs.
Things went pretty well for him.
Was he left-handed?
Yeah.
Okay. 3 balls and strike.
Well, Jimmy, and you could talk about if you had 97 and you're trying to back off, you start to feel for the home plate or the catcher's mitt, and that's tough.
Yeah, I would think. And that's when we were told that last year, I was kind of skeptical. Because, I think if you could throw 97, you're at least going to show 94. You're not going to start throwing 89, 90, you know.
Time call. Tolles awaiting the 3-2 pitch from Miller. Tim Wakefield started last night. There's a 2-out walk.
We'll take it.
First walk for Miller. Miller gave up hits to the first 3, then a fly ball, double play ball, and 2 outs here in this inning. Now a walk.
Well, right there.
Jared took it. Yeah, see, that's the one where you kind of step across home plate, waiting for the umpire to punch you out and go, oh, wow, salvage.
Get about 3 steps down like the teacher isn't going to call on me. I'm free.
Jay Happ's .292 batting average will be challenged here by this left-hander. Fouls it for strike 1. He's 3rd among major league pitchers at .292. He has a homer and he's driven in 4.
I can't tell you how many times I've tried to take off my shin guard waiting for them to punch me out.
There's a little more drama when you've got to remove that shin guard.
Well, the good news is if you remove the shin guard and they do punch you out, you're just going to leave it right there, and the bat boy's going to pick it up.
One and two.
He's got a pretty good breaking ball, though, it looks like. It's just command, I guess, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with that 6'7" frame.
Yeah.
Broken bad roller. Scudero hits a hustling half, barely. And it's no runs, no hits, and a man stranded. 3-1 Boston after 2.
Ever faced by Nolan Ryan. He's part of the Red Sox party, part of the Red Sox staff. Last batter ever faced by Nolan Ryan.
I'll go with Jerry Remy.
And you would be wrong.
Oh!
They did that to you on purpose.
Yeah, Remy red herring. Oh, yeah, because Jerry would have been done by the time Nolan.
We've been tricked again. All right.
With Nolan's last year, 94?
93.
93.
Red Sox
Marathon leaguer.
Well, I can give you a clue. He was a Seattle Mariner.
Dave Magadan?
Bagwell gets his first bell. That is correct. And what was unusual about that, Nolan didn't throw the final pitch to him because he had to leave in the middle of the at-bat when the elbow went. And a pitcher by the name of Steve Dreyer actually threw the pitches that actually walked Magadan. The walk was charged to Nolan. But Steve Dreyer actually threw his final pitches.
It's not shocking that Mags walked either.
No.
It's part of his game.
Dustin Pedroia takes strike one.
Well, Nolan's ulnar collateral ligament just finally went. He'd been, as JD knows, he'd been babying it for years.
Yeah, about 10.
Yeah, and it finally went in the first inning in Seattle.
And you know it was going to take something like that to finally end it. He wasn't going to walk away until something, until those springs popped in there.
You know, he's pitched about, 53 years in the Major League?
Well, the Astros were concerned about him in '86.
Yeah, that was a big issue in the clubhouse. Nolan was not happy when they put a pitch limit on him.
Yeah, back then he'd throw 140 pitches easy.
They were trying to limit him to 100 pitches, and with all the strikeouts, and he'd still walk a few guys, a lot of deep counts. I mean, he'd get to 100 pitches in the 5th or 6th inning, and his mindset was to go the distance.
That game was in Seattle, and everyone knew it was going to be his last trip through because he's retiring after the year, and they had a standing room only crowd coming in as we see the official answer on the AT&T trivia question, and he was gone before they were all even in the ballpark.
Wow.
Well, I knew something about Nolan when I first got to the big leagues. We went and played an exhibition game against the Rangers in the old stadium.
Hit to right field by Pedroia.
And when you walked in the stadium, it said, no one, and this was in the visiting clubhouse, it said, no one will only sign on getaway day. I said, well, this guy must be pretty special.
Yeah.
If it's a huge sign that says no one will only sign then.
Pedroia's 2 for 2. He's stolen 15 in 17 tries. He's aboard for Gonzalez. Gonzalez had the RBI single to right field in the first. He seems to be the perfect fit for the Red Sox, and it's working out that way.
He's so good, Brownie, hitting the ball the other way.
Yeah.
And with that wall over there. But see, this is a different look Red Sox team than a lot of times you've seen in the past, because they got Ellsbury. Pedroia, as you said, had 15 stolen bases. I mean, they can run also. So
good point.
They just move around. And then when you got boppers in the middle of the lineup, they're going to drive you in. That's why you lead the major leagues in RBIs.
Gonzalez is hitting .380 at Fenway. Youkilis is hitting .370. And Ortiz .336. Great hitters ballpark and great hitters.
Very similar to the Ranger club that just came through here that can beat you with power and speed. This team probably a tougher lineup to pitch to because their hitters are a little bit more disciplined. They walk more. The Rangers don't really walk a lot, but they do have that combination of speed and power.
Well, because you can win a game with speed at night. You don't have to hit the 3-run homer all the time, but if you can go first to third, you get a stolen base here and there with just a knock and get a run. That's big for a ball club. That's what you call a complete ball club.
Maggie, we were talking about the trend. A lot less offense the last couple of years. More stolen bases. Maybe a little more sacrifice bunting. That one's off the right shin guard. Tougher to hit home runs. If you're putting a ball club together, does that influence you in the type of players you bring into your organization?
Well, yeah, for me it would. Like we just said. I want a complete ball club. I just don't want to wait around for the I don't know what year was that, 87 to 90 something Detroit Tigers where you hit the 3-run homer. And guys would hit 30, 40 home runs and drive in 80. I mean, I don't want that type of player. What do you do with the other 600 at bats?
Good point. Sanchez to his left, drops the ball, now recovers, throws from a knee and gets him at first, but he wanted the out at second on Pedroia. And with one out, Pedroia is now at second base.
Well, at least we got an out there. That could have been disastrous. And I love how they're booing Youkilis too.
Well, as you mentioned, Red Sox Nation is out.
Yes, it is.
Youkilis single to left field in the first inning. It just makes sense, though, that it's baseball more like it was in the late 60s, early 70s now. A lot more 3-2 games. Speedy defenders are more at a premium than they were 10 years ago. So that Michael Bourne's.
Yeah, I mean, those are huge cogs in your lineup as guys that can do that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know what Ellsbury stole last year, but I think it was 50, 60 bases, something like that. And I remember, I hate to say that when I play, I hate people that say that, but Biz used to steal bases all the time, and it would make it so much easier on my job to see a guy just running around the bases for me, and all I had to do was hit a ground ball to short or a fly ball to right.
It was 2 years ago. Ellsbury had 70. And the year before that, in 08, he had 50. Last year he was hurt most of the time. But yeah, that's uncommon for the Red Sox down through the years.
Well, I remember when I first got there to the Red Sox in '89. Basically, we played catch for 60 seconds. We took ground balls for 32 seconds, and then we hit for 4 hours.
2-2. We've talked about this, but tell everybody a little bit about that moment. And you were progressing up through the system. Here you were, an Eastern guy. You really had that goal to play for the Red Sox. Boom, you get traded.
Well, and I try and, I try and relay that to our young kids. Don't worry about who's at first base, left field, right field, center field. All you got to do is go out and do your jobs, and good things will happen. And that's what happened to me with the Red Sox. I had Wade Boggs and Scott Cooper and Tim Naring all in front of me, but I never really thought about it. I just went out and played, and I got traded, and in a deal with L.A., Larry Anderson, and next thing you know, I'm in the big leagues the next year. I mean, you just go out and play, and things will take care of itself. Not to say my entire family wasn't crushed and crying.
The wailing and gnashing of teeth.
Yeah.
Michael's in left, in position for a throw to third base, and Pedroia holds 2 outs. And then you were saying that your dad realized and told you this could be a very good thing for you.
He came and picked me up in Albany, New York after I got traded. And as we're driving back, he goes, and this is kind of really before the internet, at least for my family, since we didn't even have cable till like last year. He was like, this could be a good opportunity. And at the time, he said, Caminetti hit like 240 last year. He said, you might have an opportunity to do this. Needless to say, Cam became one of my best friends, and I got moved to first base the next year. But I was very fortunate also, very fortunate to get to an organization that would give me a chance.
David Ortiz looks at ball 1. Oh, Ortiz had that same thing happen to him.
He was released by Minnesota.
How crazy is that?
And now he's got 366 bombs.
He wasn't a quote unquote Twins type player.
Right. I think he's quote unquote a Red Sox type player.
I think the Twins would change their opinion.
Yeah.
If they could get a mulligan on that one.
Yeah. And that happens. You're not right on everybody all the time. And, you can make some mistakes, but, as a player, you just keep going until they take your uniform off and see what happens. But David has been just a tremendous player for the Red Sox. And a terrific guy.
2 balls and a strike. He's one of those guys who is so popular, he almost supersedes being a baseball player.
Well, he does, Bronny, and he just, even the little stuff he does, watch, he's going to, he'll spit on his batting gloves and clap it a couple times, and he just brings something else to the ballpark when he's there, and he's just a magnetic personality.
Did you see that bit? I guess it was on the baseball channel where he's running around New York trying to get hugs from Yankee fans.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
That was good.
Oh, and by the way, he's probably one of the most clutch players the Red Sox have ever had.
Yeah, he's one of those guys you want at the plate.
Oh, yes.
Carlos Lee backhands. Tosses to Jay Happ for out number 3. No runs a hit. Runner stranded. 3-1 Boston.
$3.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. This time of night, it is reminiscent of how Jeff Bagwell used to see the ball at first base in Colorado.
Yeah.
At least down where I'm sitting. I got the shades on.
That up, buddy.
Oh, man. It's not good.
I think I lost 2 ball games for us in that. I know one was Darrell's. Sorry, brother.
Michael Bourne leads it off 3-1, and inside ball 1 to him. He tripled in the first and came around to score on a Sanchez single. Michael's now 3 for 3 lifetime against Miller. Michael's been hitting lefties a lot better for the last couple of months. Our leaders of the game is brought to you by United, proud to fly the Houston Astros. Michael hitting .372 on his 11-game hitting streak, second 10-game streak or more this season.
Well, Brownie, I think he has good at bats against lefties. I really do. I've always said that. I don't know. And there are some lefties that I don't know if they concentrate, but they try and stay in there a little bit more on lefties. I think Michael does a nice job with that.
3-1 now. Full count to Michael Bourne. Sanchez and Pence to follow in the Astro third inning. Euclid goes over into foul ground. 1 out.
Euclid is a unique player also that can do a lot of different things. Kind of like, I don't know, I'm not going to compare him to Albert, but can play first base, can play third base, can play the outfield. Does a lot of things as a team player where he can just do a lot. So what that does is it enables you to go out as if you're a GM and to get different players and not have to worry about, well, you know, Yuke's got to play here.
Good point.
I just think it helps.
Scudero. Sanchez, 2 outs. I'm talking with Brad Mills about the Red Sox approach at the plate, all the pitches they see, that kind of thing. He thinks the Astros have improved on that from last year. And then we talk further about, well, is that going to be the goal of most organizations? He said, well, I think we're trying to get better. And then through the minor leagues with Ty Van Berkeley, the hitting coordinator, he said he interviewed for the hitting coach job here, so he knows what our approach is. And we talk, and he and Mike Barnett are on the same page. That is what we're striving to improve.
Yeah, it's just tough. It's just tough to change somebody who they are and just say, hey, you got to take some pitches. I think it's difficult. That I was laughing the other day. I was watching TV and Brad Pitt is portraying Billy Bean in the Moneyball, and I just can't even believe that.
I can't either. I don't think that's a fit. There's some miscasting going on in that movie.
Well, it's called Money, probably $20 million.
Who's the guy playing Art Howe again?
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah,
a heck of an actor.
Great actor.
But,
so do you think he can pull it off?
I don't know if Brad can. I call him Brad like he's my friend.
P-Dog.
P-Dog. Shout out.
Well, he has us intrigued enough to probably watch the movie and see.
But I just think it's tough. I don't, I can't tell Hunter, I want you to start taking pitches.
Right.
It's hard with a kid coming even out of college to sit there and go, well, now if you're scouting and you try and draft that type of player, that's a whole different thing.
That's the play.
Yeah.
You find that guy as opposed to trying to make that guy.
Right. I agree.
Well, that's the Billy Bean Moneyball approach, right?
Yeah, but Brownie, they would do stuff in the minor leagues. From what I'm gathering, they were not able to swing at certain pitches in certain times, or they would have to take till they got a strike to try and make these kids like that.
Do you like that approach?
No.
Okay.
I get the theory of, as we talked about, the Astros, we had no walks last night. They had 9. It's basically you're getting 9 more knocks, 9 more hits.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I think what Jimmy was alluding to and what we're just talking about is I probably want to draft that type of player, not try and make him that player.
Right. Makes sense.
It's like telling Kirby Puckett or Yogi Berra, by the way, don't swing at that fastball over your head.
Right.
Well, really, I just laced it in the gap for a double.
And not that you wouldn't want Kirby or Yogi on your club, but you're probably looking for a mix of different types of players.
Right,
there.
right.
Hunter lines this one foul. And, take Michael Bourne, for instance. He has a 356 on base average coming into this game. Nothing wrong with that. He's scored a lot of runs this year. He's doing his job of getting on base. He might not draw as many walks as a lot of leadoff guys, but that's really not his style.
No, it's not. But, his last at bat, he took that 3-1 fastball. He was not swinging at it at all, which, he's just trying to get on base. And that's, I think that's what Millsy's kind of talking about.
Okay. 2-2. Yeah, if you take some of the aggressiveness away from a hitter, that can really be harmful, can it?
Well, it sure can, because what you're doing is, you might only get 1 or 2 pitches that you can hit during that bat. If you take that pitch away, it's tough to hit in the big leagues behind the count.
Line drive right field in for Hunter. He's 2 for 2 in this one. Takes a big turn. Gonzalez probably will be challenged if the Astros get a chance to. He doesn't play much right field.
Third major league start in right field. Well, here we go. This is Philip Seymour Hoffman as Art Howe. There you go.
Who's got more hair? Well, we can't tell. They have hats on.
No.
That's the only way you could play this part.
We'll just have to see the movie and make our own decision.
Artie looks way more managerial.
Yeah. Carlos Lee, the batter now. Here's ball 1.
Smoking from a former teammate.
Now, originally, when they had flown the cast out to Arizona, right? They were going to start making this movie. Art Howe was going to play himself.
Yeah.
And what happened?
I don't know.
I think there was some kind of a copyright problem, or somebody quit. Don't remember exactly.
Artie's here. He was on the pregame show. So
okay, we'll ask him.
Yeah.
Now you guys are going to be on the postgame show, right? So, or JD's going to be on the postgame.
I'm not going to be on the postgame show. JD's going to be on the postgame.
So we all right. You think that maybe we could talk about the movie?
Right.
We won't even talk about the game.
Right.
Talk about.
Well, if we don't score any more runs, we're definitely going to talk about the movie, not the game. So let's try the game first.
All right. Game is good. Michael's on deck. And it's in the air. Second baseman Pedroia's underneath it. In the third, no runs, a hit, and a man left. 3-1 Boston after 3. had no idea what was going on here for a long, long time.
The ball girl had a candy bar or something in her pocket.
Yeah.
And they had to bring in the B guy. He got a big ovation. What was it, an hour plus, right, that delay?
It was.
That was fun.
No, it was 52 minutes.
52.
There it is, yeah.
Just felt like an hour plus.
It did. Saltalamacchia with a fly ball to center. Michael Bourne back. One out in the fourth for Jay Happ, who is settling in now.
Center field where homers go to die. He knew it wasn't wrong.
Darnell McDonald playing left field. Hit a fly ball to right first time up.
That day Richie Sexton hit the ball off the middle of the flagpole.
I was going to ask you about that.
748 feet away. He was just shaking his head.
That had to be the most crushing development for any hitter in this ballpark, right?
Well, at least he got I think he got a triple.
He got a triple?
Yeah. At least he had that.
I think the mark is still up there.
Nobody can climb that high to get it.
1 ball, 1 strike to McDonald. Carl Crawford will miss this entire series. That's tough for the Houston native to come back here and be unable to play.
What was it like up here in the booth when Sammy hit the lights?
We were just talking about that.
Were you?
It felt like we were in a movie.
The Natural.
Yeah. This should not be happening. What has just happened here? It's hard to process that information.
I know. I tell people all the time I missed the next 7 pitches because I was still standing up there looking at that thing with my mouth open.
Exactly. Fly ball near the right field line. Long run for Hunter Pence. He's calling behind Sanchez. 2 outs. Yeah, it's so crazy to see a ball land that high, that far out.
Was that the game? He hit 3 homers that night, didn't he?
I don't remember.
I think he did. I think he hit one over the Reliant Energy sign. He hit the lights and then just hit a normal one off the facade.
And was it Scott Ellerton who gave it up?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Sorry, Scott, if you're listening, but that was a bomb.
I don't think Scott was healthy then. Marco Scudero puts it ball 1. So the combination of Ellerton pitching with a bad arm and Sammy on steroids, we're going to discount that whole thing. Bouncer Happ. Nice recovery.
What save and a beauty.
It's a 1-2-3-4 and 3-1 Red Sox. And now Red Sox and Astros fans are watching Jason Michaels lead it off in the home fourth. He bounced into that double play in the first. Chris Johnson and Clint Barmas to follow against Andrew Miller. And it's strike one for Miller. San Francisco got 5 in the first at Detroit and leads now 6-0 in the third inning. Pablo Sandoval hit his 7th homer.
They're in a rain delay now. You know, that Tiger starter's hoping it rains all night. I think it's Scherzer.
Okay. Maggie, did you happen to see the tantrum that Brian Wilson threw for the Giants last night?
I did not see that.
You've got to see a clip of that.
Why did he?
He got touched up a little bit in the game. Got a blown save.
Back-to-back blown saves for him.
That's true.
And it was just hilarious because all the teammates they've just abandoned ship, and he's just running up and down the dugout, smashing everything, and with that beard going, he just looks like pro wrestler kind of waiting for him to go to the foreign object or something.
Tigers were not fearing the beard last night.
No, nobody's made more off of that than Wilson.
True. But yeah, he was the only guy on the bench, and everybody knew what was coming.
Everybody up must have gone up the tunnel and just cleared out.
Let's get out of here.
He was just pacing, and then it hit him, and he snapped. Grabbed a bat and took it to the water cooler. And then he punched something. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Hopefully for him it was left-handed that he punched something.
I don't remember if it was or not. But yeah, that can definitely be an issue. Twins lead Milwaukee 3-0. Bottom of the 4th inning. Dyer and Valencia have gone deep.
How is San Francisco playing Detroit? I mean, that's just like a weird.
Yeah, not natural rivals, are they?
No. Quite work for interleague for me.
This whole scheduling thing needs attention.
Okay. 2 games here, 2 games there, and then go across the country.
Strike 3 instead of ball 4. Michaels disagreeing. 2 strikeouts for Miller.
Jason arguing that ball was up and away. Number 6 there on Fox tracks.
Corey Blazer rang it up. Chris Johnson next. 0-1 to Chris. Baltimore 2, Atlanta 1. They're in the bottom of the 4th. Mark Reynolds hit his 16th for the Orioles.
See the story in it was either SI or SI.com on the Managerial Warren Spahn game back in '62 or '3 when they both went 15 scoreless.
Didn't see it. No. It would be worth reading though, probably, with a game like that.
Yeah, it was an excerpt from a book. But what I didn't realize, and I didn't finish the whole story, I was just glossing through it. Prior to that season, they changed the strike zone. You like this, Baggy. It used to be it was the top of the knees to the armpits or whatever, and went from the bottom of the knees to the top of the shoulders was the book rule of strike zone that year.
Top of the shoulders?
Yeah. I would have a tough time hitting in that era because I was not a good. I swung at every fastball above my shoulders, but I wasn't real good at hitting them.
Now I don't know how whether they called it literally, but my goodness. Not to take anything away from Spahn and Managerial, 2 of the greatest of all time, but you got a pretty good chance if you're out there on the hill and it's bottom of the knees to the shoulder.
You would have struck out 20 in a game, JD.
I would have struck out 20 times in a game too. Kind of like the Kerry Wood game. I was number 21 right on deck. There it is, strike right there.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, it's shoulder high.
Well, I don't think anybody's going 15 innings anytime soon around here.
No. Was that Kerry Wood game the toughest pitcher you?
I've never seen anything like that in my entire life.
There's a walk.
Just the break is breakable.
After the All-Star break, catch the Astros at home July 15th through the 20th against the Pirates and Nationals. With dynamic pricing tickets, you can purchase select field box tickets starting at only $26 for the series against the Nationals. Visit Astros.com/dynamic for this incredible deal. You know, you were talking about that game, and it seems to me, I didn't see the story, but I've read this before. One of them threw 262 pitches, as I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think they're both up over 200.
Yeah, they were both over 200.
Good grief. Then Barmes fouls it, strike one.
There's about 15 pitching coaches that just passed out right now.
And when Sponny was probably, 42 at the time. That was the 13th and final 20-win season for him.
That's amazing stuff.
Wow.
Sounds like it's worth reading.
What are the guys in the bullpen doing? Hanging out
Crossword puzzle there.
Well, Skip doesn't have much confidence in me tonight.
1-1 to Barmes. J.R. Tolles on deck. We talked about it his first time up, but Mike Barnett said he's trying to create a little more tension with Clint, and that left arm is a little more tense, if you will, than it was. So that's helping him to get ready instead of trying to start so relaxed. Rolled out to shortstop. Scudero. Double play to end the fourth for the Astros. Second double play for the Red Sox. They lead it 3-1 after 4.
Huge Astros fans. Allison Footer told me about these two when they were Skyping from a social media event she was doing. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, my wife went to Belize, I guess it was 2 weeks ago. We were at social media night, and so I pulled her up and let her talk back and forth, and she missed the game, so we're usually at every one of them. We follow Allison through Twitter, Facebook, anything like that, just to stay connected to the Astros. So.
That's the loyal fan. How long have you been an Astros fan?
Probably since I was about 2. My parents were big Astros fans, so 22 years. I married my wife about March. I've been taking her to games for about 5 years. She finally fell in love with it, so I convinced her. So
he's persistent like that. Hey, well, way to go, guys. We like to reward loyal fans. You are the progressive couple of the game. Share that amongst yourselves. And I also want to point out, Brownie, that while I've been sitting here, these guys have been pounding down the cotton candy. So I'm going to slide out of here before things get interesting. Back to you.
Okay, very good, Bart. As they work on that sugar high, you can move on out. 1 ball, 1 strike to the pitcher. Andrew Miller leading it off, 3-1 Red Sox.
Did I hear JD out there say that he's been married? They've been married since about March.
Yeah, You did.
He might want to lock in on that date a little better. Right. Yeah, that'll serve him well.
Yeah, about March.
Yeah, sometime back there in the spring.
So is he going to celebrate his anniversary about March?
Somehow I probably have a feeling he's already been talked to about that.
Strikeout for Jay. That's number 2. He's retired 7 straight now.
Yeah, and so much for our theory about Jay Happ needing to get off to a good start because he did anything but he has recovered and pitched quite well. The question is, will it end up putting him in the win column? I don't know, but at this stage, you just want to be able to leave a start feeling good about things, even if you don't win. If you you get into the 7th inning, allow 3 runs, you say, all right, that was against that lineup. That's a good night's work.
I'm going to speak for myself, and most people out there know by now that we don't know anything we're talking about.
True.
We're just talking.
Just keep flinging those darts.
I ought to get you guys every Saturday home game. I don't get a chance for all this kind of stuff.
That's right. When are you making another trip to one of the Astros farm clubs?
I got to go next week for sure. Otherwise, I'm sure I'll be fired.
Which one will it be?
I'm going to go see. I'm going to check to see if.
Pass the diving Carlos Lee up the right field line. Hunter Pence comes over. That's going to be a 2-base hit for Ellsbury. His 23rd.
Probably check to see if a couple of the kids are back from the DL or not, or maybe just drive down to Corpus.
Got some good talent to look at in Corpus. That's hit number 5 for the Red Sox. Dustin Pedroia has 2 of those. Chris Johnson's even with a bag at 3rd. Strike to Pedroia.
And again, we're talking about Jay getting after that rough start, and this isn't a problem that's just been specific to Jay. It happens to a lot of pitchers. First innings a lot of times are problematic, but what happens is you have no margin for error from that point forward. You give up that 3 spot in the first, and you got to hang a bunch of zeros to stay in the game.
That's true, and I remember Roger pitching like that at times, and even Andy. You exactly what you say, Jimmy, is like, okay, I've already given up more than I can give up. I have no chance of winning this game if I don't keep zeros in there, and then it becomes tough after that. We've been struggling lately a little bit, and we scored some runs last night, but it's normal, but that's a mindset that happens at times, and you've got to fight that as a starting pitcher or even a player, like, oh, something bad's going to happen now.
Yeah, because he's in a position here. We're in the middle innings, down a couple of runs. So in a situation where you might otherwise be a little bit more aggressive, Pedroia, he's probably thinking, give up a knock here. Now it's 4-1, and we're in deep trouble. So probably maybe tendency would be to pick a little bit in a situation like this, nibble, 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 which could serve you well against a lot of clubs, but against this team, nibble, nibble, nibble could lead up to a walk, and next thing you know, Gonzalez, even if he gets, you could hit a check swing home run to left field here, and the next thing you know, you're down 5 runs.
Gonzalez on deck with a 1-1 count on Pedroia. Sanchez is playing up the middle for him. He jerks this line drive into the left field corner. Ellsbury around to make it 4-1. Pedroia into second base. RBI double. He's 3 for 3 in this game. Now 13 for 20 at Minute Maid Park. 38th run batted in for Pedroia. Gonzalez singled in a run in the first, then he grounded out in the 3rd inning. Lance Berkman has hit a homer for the Cardinals, his 21st. It came off Jeff Neiman at Tampa Bay. 1-0 Cardinals in the 4th.
Starting to heat up again.
Cardinals have moved back into first place in the NL Central by 1. Carlos lead takes that one for out number 1. Pedroia to third base as Gonzalez pulled the grounder. And Youkilis will follow. He's 1 for 2. Florida has scored 4 in the top of the first at Texas off Derek Holland. Still batting. Hanley Ramirez hit his 6th home run.
Starting to hit a little bit, isn't he?
He is. Yep.
It's only a matter of time.
Trader Jack.
Jack
lit a fire. Yeah.
Must have.
80 years of knowledge.
There's ball 1. Did you see the average age of managers in the NL East is now 65? The whole division ought to be sponsored by AARP.
That's up there.
Ian, Davy Johnson is what's Davy,
68. Yep.
Harry Collins is 62.
Freddie Gonzalez is the youngster. He's 47. One ball, 2 strikes.
Interesting. Baseball, like the other sports, being criticized as being kind of an old boys network in terms of the managers and the head coaching jobs, and how they always seem to recycle the same guys. So in a sense they did, but they didn't, because McKeon and Johnson have both been out of the dugout for quite a while now.
True.
I say bring back Lasorda.
The appeal goes to first. Check swing call by Scott Berry.
Just thinking, if they could get Garner, hire Garner over there in that division, then the age would really go up. Get that old goat back in the dugout.
Youkilis had squared that one up. It went over the Crawford boxes right there.
Way upstairs. 3-2 now.
That was a strike. That was a strike in the Spawn game.
Yeah, that was.
Uh-huh.
Can't afford to take that pitch with 2 strikes.
Ground ball behind second. Sanchez with the throw to lead. And in the 5th inning, the Red Sox get a run on 2 hits. They strand a man. They lead it down 4-1. Hunter Pence, and Miller has walked a couple, but along the way he's had 2 double play balls tonight. J.R. Tolles leads it off. He drew that walk in the 2nd inning with 2 outs on a 3-2 count. Cuts in on him a little bit, and it's ball 1. Final game of interleague play for these 2 teams comes tomorrow. Then the Astros go to Pittsburgh and Florida. It's 1-1. White Sox beat the Cubs 1-0 today at Wrigley. Philip Humber of Rice won his 8th, beating Matt Garza. Shot into center field, and no, doesn't quite make it. Pedroia makes the play. Miller was low-bridged on it, slowed it down enough, and now is he all right? That's the question for the Red Sox.
Yeah, he's all right. He's got a 4-1 lead in the 5th inning.
I was going to say in the 5th inning, he's fine.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about that.
Kind of a bone sticking out of his jersey. I'm good. He's lucky on 2 fronts. Didn't get him in the coconut, and then he got the out.
Like the left shoulder is where he got hit.
He doesn't even need to throw a warm-up pitch right here. Like you said, Jimmy, he's not coming out of this game.
Yeah.
Tough luck for JR.
Yes.
He hit a BB. Jay Happ rounded out to short in the 2nd inning.
Really interesting how this game has turned out, because it felt like it was going to be a 10-8 thing when it started.
Really did.
The Astros came out blazing. A triple and a couple of singles, but just a 1 run on the board so far. Give Miller credit. He settled in, pitched well. He's on some tough angles with the long arm action he's got. Throws across his body.
One and two. Now the Red Sox came out of the gate, and their first 5 men reached base. The Astros' first 3 hit their way on. Strike 3 on the curve. That's a 3rd strikeout. On the Euclid ground out, the official score ruled it a 1-4-3 in the top of the 5th inning. Michael Bourne opened the game for the Astros with a triple. He scored and then fouled out to 3rd in the 3rd inning. Adam Dunn is now hitting 168. He was 0 for 4 today for the White Sox. Liner over shortstop.
Nice job, Michael.
He's 2 for 3. 96 hits for Michael.
He said, "Come on, man, it's not that easy." Probably also saying, "Hey, don't be going anywhere. Stick around and talk with me for a while."
That's the French benefit at first. You get to talk to everybody. That's what I used to do to Carlos Beltran when he left us. I just keep talking to him and hope he wouldn't steal.
Measuring his lead, Sanchez the batter. Strike 1 to Angel. He had the RBI single in the first. He's 1 for 2.
It's one of the interesting things about baseball. There is a social element to it down there at first base.
Oh, it's amazing. We don't have enough time to talk about all the stuff that goes on down there.
Pedroia over to Big Papi for the 3rd out. No runs a hit and a man left after 5. 4-1 Red Sox. Cam brought to you by the Frost Brewed Coors Light. 4-1. The Red Sox got 3 of those in the first inning, and then a Pedroia double in the 5th scored Ellsbury. Now we move to the 6th inning, and it's Big Papi David Ortiz, who drew the bases loaded walk in the 1st and then grounded out in the 3rd. Away, strike 1. In Ortiz's case, he's been DHing for years now. He is a good first baseman, but you get into a certain rhythm and pattern, probably, Baggy. But then again, a lot of guys don't like DHing either.
I hated it. It's very difficult because you got to sit on the bench after you strike out, make an out, whatever, and have to deal with it internally and just try and stay loose. But what happens is when you make that out, then all of a sudden you get up, you say, this is my chance to do something, and then next thing you know, you swing at a bad pitch. And you got to be a certain type of person, and obviously Davis done a tremendous job doing that. You know, I think of Chili Davis and guys like that. It's a hard thing to do, and it sounds easy because you say, oh, you're just hitting, but mentally it's the hard part.
It can certainly lengthen a player's career if he's good at it.
Oh, no doubt. There's a lot of guys that are good at it, though.
True. 3-1.
I haven't really paid that much attention to the American League clubs, but it seems like when the DH first started, everybody had like an old veteran, Tony Oliva type guy that would do that job and pretty much do it every day. Now it seems like clubs, they platoon, they use different guys, so it's not quite as set in stone.
We go to Greg Lucas.
Let's take a quick scoring update. Of course, this game got underway in the first inning when the Red Sox got 3 runs on 3 hits. The first one driven in by Adrian Gonzalez. The Astros got back in it in the bottom of the inning. Sanchez single scored Bourne, who had tripled to lead off the game, and then the Red Sox added another run on an RBI double by Pedroia. That's where we stand. 4-1 Red Sox in the top of the 6th.
And there's ball 1 to Saltalamacchia. He's 0 for 2.
Jay wanted that one.
Curtis Granderson hit his 22nd bomb for the Yankees.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got that speed power combination.
He had that 1 year where he had 20 homers and 20 triples. I mean, really?
Yeah. Bartolo Colon returned to the rotation. Pitch shutout ball for 6 innings for the Yankees. Dylan G was the loser. People are saying the Yankees should trade for a starting pitcher. But Brian Cashman, their general manager, pointed out, well, we've got Colon, he said a few days ago, who was hurt at the time, and Phil Hughes. And he said, I don't think I can trade for 2 guys like that.
There's not much out there on the market, I don't think, real, that you can go get, really.
Mm-hmm. 3rd walk.
I'm sure the Red Sox aren't going to give up Beckett.
No.
Well, it's still very difficult to identify who's going to be the sellers at the trade deadline.
Right.
There's so many teams with at least an outside shot of the playoffs.
David Carpenter, Fernando Abad working in the bullpen. Happ has thrown 103 pitches. Doug Brocail is the Astros pitcher who has both of the wins when Houston has defeated Boston in interleague play. They came in back-to-back games in relief in 2008. Ball 1. Well, the Red Sox GM Theo Epstein has said that he is looking for a right fielder, and Phillies have said that they're looking for a right-handed hitter, probably an outfielder. They're mostly a left-handed hitting team with their power spots. Bounce to short. Barmes with the shovel. Sanchez turning it. 6-4-3 double play, and the Astros get number 2 of the game. It's 4-1 Boston in the 6th.
back to the booth. Bill Brown, Jim DeShays, and Jeff Bagwell.
Thanks, Greg Lucas. It is a 4-1 lead, and Josh Reddick has entered the game in left field for the Red Sox. Darnell McDonald was the left fielder. He's now moved over to right field. And the right fielder was Adrian Gonzalez. He has moved to first base. David Ortiz coming out of the game after going 0 for 2 with a bases loaded walk. And it's Hunter Pence batting. He's 2 for 2. Fly ball left. Watch it go. They're getting up in the Crawford boxes. And Hunter Pence takes the tour. Home run number 10. 56 runs batted in for Hunter. 3 for 3 in this game, and the Astros trail by 2.
That's a good start to this inning.
Yes, it is. Shoves right on that first pitch, and here it is. Now Carlos Lee loops one, and that falls in for a hit to left field.
Real good start to this inning. I think we're going to be getting up down in the bullpen down there.
Yep. Miller is at 78 pitches. There's a single. Jason Michaels ground into a double play, and he struck out looking. Alfredo Aceves, the right-hander, is warming up for the Red Sox. Chris Johnson on deck. The Astros have 7 hits to the Red Sox 6.
Hunter crushed that ball, didn't he?
He sure did.
I should have stayed away.
I wasn't going to say it.
JD stepped out of the booth during that Hunter Pence homer.
And we got a knock, too.
Yeah. See, look, I come back and miss.
We got a double play.
Pedroia double play. Two outs, and it's Chris Johnson coming up. If the Astros get a man on, you want to step out of the booth again, JD.
He wasn't happy. I had to go check with Artie about the movie.
What did he say?
Moneyball. He said that he did. He went out there. He spent a few days out there, went through wardrobe and the whole deal. But the people distributing the movie, Sony, I guess, said that they didn't think it would sell because it was kind of being treated almost like a documentary with him in the movie. But then they decided to go with the star power and Philip Seymour Hoffman, more of a,
The Academy Award winner,
more
Artie.
Yeah.
You mean they said Art was not a star actor?
They didn't like his chops.
Well, did Philip Seymour Hoffman come spend some time with Art Howe to capture the real persona?
I don't know that.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
Why don't you take a walk out of the booth for a while again?
Got to do a little more research.
Yeah, we need another homer. No balls and 2 strikes. Farmas on deck. The appeal goes to first. Check swing call.
CJ Brain, it's a sigh of relief.
Yeah. That's got to be a little nervous feeling while you're waiting for that ruling.
Well, if he didn't call it on Euclid, you shouldn't have called it on CJ either.
Ooh. Still 1-2. Chris Johnson. Phillies beat Toronto 5-3. Roy Halladay returned and beat the Blue Jays in Toronto for win number 11. He's 11-3 with a 2.44 ERA. He gave up Bautista's 26th homer. Bouncer slowly hit. Miller on over to Gonzalez. Hunter Pence on the first pitch of the 6th inning got his 3rd hit of the night. That makes it 4-2 Boston after 6. might be coming out. Jay Happ in 6 innings has allowed 6 hits, 4 runs. He's thrown 105. Marco Scutaro, the batter, is 0 for 2, 2 groundouts. That's to center, and Michael Bourne is in position. 1 pitch, 1 out here. That'll help Jay. Now we get a pinch hitter, Navarro, who was just called up from the minor leagues for the game last night. He is an infielder. Yamaiko Navarro, 143 in his career in the big leagues with 5 runs batted in.
Jamaica.
Yeah, it's a different name, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think I've heard that one before.
He came up from Pawtucket. He was hitting .258 there with 5 homers, 13 runs batted in. It's 2-0. Andrew Miller in 6 innings allowed 7 hits, 2 runs. He walked 2 and fanned 3 through 85 pitches. Well, the Red Sox would have to be happy with that at this point. 55 of the 85 pitches were strikes from Miller. Navarro's 23 years old from San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican. 3-1.
Cradle of shortstops.
Yeah.
Right.
We were talking about Jose Vizcaíno the other night. That's to left field, and that's high to left field, and that is a pinch homer for Navarro. First major league homer for Yamaiko Navarro.
A guy who throughout his minor league career has shown a little pop with the bat. 11 home runs in the minor leagues last year between AA Portland and Pawtucket.
Whoa.
A little bat flip there.
Yeah. The next time up, he might get his first hit by pitch in the big leagues.
Yeah, he might. That's probably the time to do it in interleague play when you might not get another at bat in the series.
Well, it's not like he hit it off the Sitco sign either.
I know. I wonder if he flips when he flies out, because there's no guarantee that when he hit it, he couldn't have known he got enough of it.
Well, suspense to that one. It's 1-1 to Ellsbury, who scored 2 runs tonight with a walk and a double. Fouling that one back. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He's got to find a way to avoid that first inning crooked number, because otherwise he pitched a pretty good game. Ultimately, the numbers will not be good again tonight, though.
It's the Red Sox second pinch homer of the season. 2-2. Brian McCann hit a pinch homer against the Astros in Atlanta. That was a big one to tie the game 1-1 in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs. Grounder goes foul. Still 2-2 to Ellsbury. It was not a no-doubter.
No, first row of the Crawford boxes.
Strike 3 call. Ellsbury caught looking, 2 outs. 3rd strikeout for Happ. Brad Mills is on his way to the mound. Pedroia is 3 for 3 against Happ. Happ is at that time in the pitch count. What the manager thinks about bringing in a right-hander here. And that's exactly what he's doing with the score 5-2 Boston. Right back in a moment.
with the David Crowder Band. Tickets start at only $7, so visit Astros.com tonight. That's Saturday, July 16th.
Wilton Lopez in the game. It's 5-2 Red Sox. He's 1-4 with a 3.16 ERA, and he faces Pedroia, who's 3 for 3.
Pedroia got a base hit off of him last night, a key base hit to drive in 2 runs to tie the ball game. But Wilton really made good pitches throughout that at bat. Ultimately poked a base hit to right field on a fastball that was off the outside edge, down below the knees, right out there.
Ooh. 1-1. So he's now 13 for 20 at Minute Maid Park. Chris Johnson plays the 2-hopper. Goes out Pedroia. In the 7th inning, the pinch homer by Navarro gives the Red Sox a 3-run lead again, 5-2. The fans have been treated to some good offense in these 2 games, and the pitching was good for the Red Sox, with Miller going 6 innings, allowing 7 hits, 2 runs, walking 2, fanning 3. Now they go to the bullpen. Alfredo Aceves in the game, and the right-hander, formerly with the Yankees. Last year was 3-0 with the Yankees in only 10 relief appearances, and this year he is 3-1 with the Red Sox. 5 holds and a 3.62 ERA. Only a .227 batting average against this 29-year-old right-hander from the Dominican.
Like Miller, walks have been a little bit of an issue for him. We saw 22 walks issued. If the Astros are patient, they might be able to draw a free pass or 2.
Take 2.
At the bottom of the order coming up here.
Terry Francona used 5 relief pitchers last night. Clint Barmas is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a double play ball. Looking at ball 1. Jay Happ threw 117 pitches, 61 for strikes in 6 2/3 innings, allowing 7 hits, 5 runs, walking 3, fanning 3.
That first inning, the real issue, the leadoff walk to get things started, really set him up for trouble in the first inning. But there were a number of positives tonight too for Happ. Nice clean innings. This is a tough lineup.
Bet it is.
Sure is.
Each club has 7 hits. Happ is on the hook for loss number 10 as of right now. That would be the top spot in the National League in losses. Nobody wants to be there. 2 balls and a strike.
We'll wear that one, Barney.
Yeah.
Against the shirt.
Pirates are trying to sweep a doubleheader in Washington. They won 5-3, and they're leading 3-2 in the 7th in the nightcap.
When's the last time the Pirates lost? I feel like every time I look up, they're winning.
Yeah, they've been on a nice run lately. One hopper to short.
They've really been pitching well.
Yeah.
They haven't been scoring a ton of runs, and they're banged up. I don't think that Pedro Alvarez isn't back yet, is he, Brown?
No, he's not. They called up a guy to play third base, Chase Darno. The numbers on half. Jeff Keppinger comes out to the on-deck circle as J.R. Tolles is the batter. Tolles grounded. He hit a shot off Miller, hit it off his shoulder, and then turned out to be a 1-4-3 ground out in the 5th. And walked in the 2nd. There's strike one. Let's see, Baggy. The Pirates are now 42-40. They began the day 3 games out of first, tied with Cincinnati for 3rd.
You said St. Louis is back in first place now?
Yeah, they're a game in front of Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's got to figure out a way to win on the road. They've been unbelievable at home, but for a good club, they are an inexplicable 15-28 on the road.
Well, at home, Phil Rosewitz is giving them bad food.
Yeah.
So, the visiting team.
Yeah, he is. Ground ball 3rd. Euclid over Gonzalez with the stretch.
Brewers are 29-11 in their own ballpark. So if you're good enough to be that good at home, you got to be able to at least play 500 on the road.
You would think, yes.
It's crazy. Milwaukee's lost 4 in a row now. St. Louis has won 4 in a row. So there's been a big change at the top there, quietly. Now Keppinger, the pinch hitter. Batting for Lopez, who retired the only man he faced, Pedroia, on a grounder. And Keppinger, sitting out with that bad stomach, comes off the bench this time at 314 with 2 homers, 13 runs batted in. He's had 118 at bats. 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter. Takes ball 1. Brad Mills saving his left-handed pinch hitters for later. Down by 3 with 2 outs and nobody on in the 7th. Foul back. Almost got one.
Almost got nervous there.
That was perilously close to our booth.
Yes. Destroyed everything we had up here.
Yeah, we're usually under the counter when they threaten us. There's a happy young one. 39,021 to paid attendance. Biggest crowd here in a long time. Fouled away. Still 1-2. The Red Sox have had the best record in interleague play in the majors since 05. 83-41.
Wow. Well, they destroyed us last time I was there.
Yeah, that was a crazy trip with the combined 6-pitcher no-hitter in Yankee Stadium. That was the only win of the 6 games on that road trip.
The first baseman and the second baseman had no idea what was going on while Wags was jumping around.
That was not a nice return home for you at all.
No.
It's great to see Fenway.
Yeah, well, except for the homer with my mother and father there. That was pretty special.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I hadn't hit one in about 120 at bats.
What year was that?
2004, I believe.
3.
It was 03.
Line shot right field. Pinch single for Keppinger.
Stomach's feeling better already.
Nice short stroke. 29th pinch hit for the Astros this year.
Kept saying, all right, I can hit you a line drive. Just don't ask me to run.
Exactly.
Now Michael Bourne, who has a couple of hits and 3 at-bats, will try to advance Keppinger. Humberto Quintero started his injury rehab assignment last night, and that game went well for him. And he should be able to return to the Astros right after the All-Star break if everything goes perfectly. Ball into Michael. Michael's had a chance to chat briefly with Carl Crawford, longtime friends.
The speed.
Oh. It'd be fun to see a challenge race between those two guys.
Stick Bougie in there too.
Yeah. 2 balls, no strikes. Milwaukee trails 7-3 at Minnesota. They're in the top of the 7th. Could be the 5th straight loss for Ron Renicke's team. Line shot over shortstop into left center field. Cappinger to second on Bourne's 3rd hit of the night.
That's when you know you're going real well. You know, he's hitting line drive after line drive to left center, just staying through, staying behind the baseball. And when Michael does that, he's so good.
Now it's Matt Downs pinch hitting for Angel Sanchez with the ability to tie this game with a pinch homer. Brad Mills is selecting Downs. He was talking before the game tonight about last night's game. He was saving him, and that spot in the order didn't come up later on in the 9th, but had it come up, he was going to use Downs. Gives you that pinch hit to long ball threat off the bench.
Oh, yeah, that's the hard part. Go ahead, Jimmy. No, that's the hard part is when you're saving your bullets, but you got to make sure you get that bullet out there at some point. It's a tough chess game, and I know that's tough.
And I think that's, the other day when Matt got to start at third base, Brad said that he was going to try to get him more starts. Want to find out about him. But with a lefty on the mound, playing Jason in left field and Carlos at first base, it kind of shortens your bench a little bit in terms of anybody who's got any amount of experience coming off the bench. And with Keppinger being sick and not sure, as Brad made out his lineup card today, he wasn't sure whether Keppinger was going to be able to give him an A, B, or anything.
Good point. Downs has been a terrific pinch hitter. Looking at ball 1 from Savas. Daniel Bard's warming up for the Red Sox.
Soft tossing righty.
On the edge for a 1-ball 1-strike count now to Downs.
It's been inconsistent part of the plate today. Sometimes it's been called a strike, sometimes it's not.
8 runs batted in as a pinch hitter, tied with Chris Heisey for the league lead.
Just a bit outside. Jimmy will say that's a strike.
I think it's on the black.
that stitch of that baseball touched the corner of the plate. 2-1. Downs in his last 13 pinch hit appearances is 4 for 8, 2 doubles, a homer, 6 runs batted in, 4 walks, and a hit batsman. Working his way into some very good counts and putting excellent swings on the ball.
The Red Sox broke the Astros' heart last night. The Astros can return the favor. Worked his way into a hitter's count.
Savas got a start. Josh Beckett turned sick and couldn't take that start back on June 21st against the Padres. That was fun. 3-2 now.
You know Downs, he's never going to get cheated on a fastball somewhere in the strike zone.
He is not.
Pulled off that nicely. I love it, though. I love how aggressive he is.
Now the runners go. Red Sox bullpen has 7 blown saves, 19 for 26 in saves. Foul back. Combination of Bard and Papelbon has been very good at the end of games for Boston. Last night, former Astros Dan Wheeler got the win. He came in the 6th inning with a man on base. It was Wheeler, Albers, Morales, Bard, and Papelbon for Francona last night. Hunter Pence on deck. And ball 4 loads the bases.
Wow.
How do you take that pitch? He did, and it worked. Time now for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Hunter Pence leading off the home 6th inning. Now as he comes up, the bases are loaded, and he's 3 for 3.
I think we're going to see Bard.
Yes, we are.
This is going to be fun.
Terry Francona on his way to make that move. Bard last night worked a hitless inning, had 2 strikeouts against the bottom of the order in the 8th, leading by 2. We'll be right back. It's 5-2 Boston.
See that in a moment. That's Ripken's homer. I mean, that was a great moment, no question about it. National League, how can you beat a game-winning homer by Stan Musial in the 12th inning in 1955 in Milwaukee? Well, it's up to you fans to vote. Find out who everyone voted for during the All-Star game. Ronnie, back to you.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. Hunter Pence at the plate. Daniel Bard in the game. Pence is 3 for 3. Homered in the 6th inning.
Daniel Bard's average velocity is 97 miles an hour. That's average. One of the best fastballs in all of baseball.
26 years old, from Houston, Texas.
Is he? Yeah, I didn't know he was from Houston.
Went to the University of North Carolina. 1-1. He's the Red Sox minor league pitcher of the year in 08. Last year he was the Red Sox fireman of the year, but he wasn't the closer. Tells you what they think of him.
Closers never have to come into these situations.
No, mop-up guys.
He's allowed only 2 of 17 inherited runners to score this year. Slider gets by, but not very far.
Well, if I'm Hunter Pence right now, I am sitting dead red. I might not get it, but if you swing and miss, who cares? But some guy throwing 97 miles an hour.
You're right. You have to.
You have to. Yeah.
He can throw that slider at a right-handed batter and break it in over the inside corner.
Or he can paint the outside corner and get squeezed. Boy, that outside edge has gotten awfully tight.
It's been a very, very strange strike zone on that part of the plate.
3-1.
Because remember, J. Mike got called out on that pitch up and away.
Yeah. Fans are up. 39,021. A paid attendance. Big moment right here. Three-2. That's the beauty of being 3-1. You get another one after that swing and miss.
Yeah, you swing and miss, you trick him into throwing another one. Then you hit it off the Sitco side.
Runners go. Ball 4 gets by the catcher. And run number 3 trots home. Jeff Keppenser scores it. It's 5-3 now. Pence will get the RBI. Second of the night, is 57th of the year.
Well, you got to believe anything close, and Hunter probably would have been hacking with the bases juice there, but Bard really misfiring with that one.
15 grand slams for El Caballo. Jason Michaels on deck. Lee is 1 for 3 tonight. Ground ball third. Youkilis throwing to second, and there's the stretch by Pedroia for the force out on Pence. And the Astros settle for 1 run, 2 hits. The bases are loaded when it ends. 5-3 Boston after 7. Fernando Abad, he's 1-4 with 7 holds and a 5.79 ERA.
Worked a third of an inning last night, allowed a hit and a walk. Also had a punch out. And he's got Adrian Gonzalez Euclid and then Big Poppy. So a couple big left-handed bats in the mix here for the Sox.
Abad pitched last night, struck out Big Poppy. Went 1/3 of an inning, gave up 1 hit and no runs. He had a walk. And he's acquiring all this experience now in games like this. The Astros with this youthful bullpen, hoping that'll pay off here in the second half of the season. They've certainly been through some rough times. They have an ERA that's higher than any other National League bullpen so far, 4.84. Abad trying to hold down those left-handed hitters you talked about with Gonzalez, Euclid, then Josh Reddick is in the Ortiz spot in the order, as Matt Downs stays into play second base after pinch hitting for Sanchez.
Hey, we got to wish a happy birthday to Steve Sparks.
Sparky.
Yeah.
Sparky, happy birthday, buddy.
And Richard Hidalgo also celebrating a birthday today.
He still lives in Orlando, right?
Kissimmee.
Gonzalez looks at ball 1. Big cut there. He fouls it for a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Michelle Branch was just here the other day.
Yeah. He did the concert. Sean Casey, the mayor.
Hey, David.
Who's Henry Quack?
German attorney. Should have been a doctor.
Good thing he's not a doctor. Yeah. Or a duck breeder. 2 balls and a strike.
Here we go again.
That'll make it into left field. Gonzalez going the other way. Yes, he really is, isn't he?
You take a breaking ball like that and saw it over there into left field. That's just good hitting right there.
Well, a lot of people really thought he'd be even better in Fenway. But then again, you know, a left-handed hitter who hits the ball hard to left field, that might be taking doubles away from him at Fenway.
Yeah, but you kind of like that because it's pretty much a little bit like here, except obviously dramatically different. But you can take the fastball generally and hit it that way and pull the breaking ball. Because right field at Fenway is deep.
Sure is. After the pesky pull, it really branches out.
It gets out there. I think it's 380 or something like that.
Euclid looks at ball 1. He's 1 for 3. 8 hits for the Red Sox. The Astros have 9. Michaels, Johnson, and Barmas are due up in the Houston 8.
And I mentioned Ortiz, but he'd been taken out of the ballgame. It's Reddick who's on deck.
2-0. Got a note through Greg from Mike Keys, Astros tour guide. We were talking about the Richie Sexson blast off the flagpole in center field. The mark is not visible anymore because they painted over it.
I think they should get some color paint and honor Richie for that.
I agree.
It needs to be stripe painted around the pole.
Field for a single. Back-to-back hits by Gonzalez and Euclid, and now Reddick. A lot of Euclid fans here. Reddick comes up for the first time. He's had a chance to play recently with the Carl Crawford injury. 24 years old. David Carpenter's warming up for Houston, and he's taken advantage of it, hitting .450, 1 homer, 10 runs batted in. He was 2 for 4 with an RBI last night, drew a walk. Native of Savannah, Georgia. Reddick looks at ball 1. Last year he had 62 at bats with the Red Sox, and in 09 he had 59. He was showing good power at Pawtucket with 14 homers. Didn't hit for much of an average there. 1-1. Let's see, Jeff. You played for New Britain.
Yeah, I never played in Pawtucket.
Never made it there.
Pawtucket, yeah, thankfully, but it's kind of a small ballpark from what I hear.
McCoy Stadium,
Okay.
I believe is the name of it.
Did you pitch there?
Mm-hmm. I was a Columbus Clipper.
Oh,
The Yankees. Triple A club, yeah.
How did you find the ballpark?
Well, it's so long ago, Brian. I don't remember it all that well. The one thing I remember is the dugout had this. It was the seats right above, on top of the dugout, and the kids used to take like string and use it like fishing lines and dangle down baseball cards, right. and they put balls in cups and drop them down like they were fishing for the players to sign them.
Well, San Diego was kind of the same type of thing. Yeah.
These days, fishing takes on a whole new meaning. PHISHING version of it.
But generally, the internationally tougher to hit in than the PCL. Through AAA leagues.
I know the Britain was tough to hit. Sort of whopping power there, 4 homers, 600 at bats.
Well, the Astros saw something. We know that.
Yeah.
They talked about it at the time of the trade, that they thought you would be adding power. Of course, nobody had any idea how much. Pass the diving downs into right field. Stop sign at third. And the bases are loaded with nobody out as Reddick comes through.
Well, they had the lefty on the mound for the sequence of 2 left-handed bats out of 3, but Fernando not able to neutralize Gonzalez or Reddick. And here we go again. The Astros creep a little bit closer. And now the Red Sox with a chance to really play add-on.
He was up on his cleats when he hit that one, Baggy.
Yeah. Looked like a little bit like he got fooled a little bit, but he was able to keep his hands back.
10 hits now. The infielders come in. Saltalamacchia is 0 for 2 with a walk.
Well, he will not be. CJ won't be going to third base.
No.
Excuse me, to second base for the double play on this one. He's going to be coming home now. Good catch down there.
Very good catch. That guy in the green T-shirt. And he'll get a contract. Probably got a pat on the back anyway. Two grand slams for Saltalamacchia. That one's out of play, and it's 0-2. Tough times for Astros lefty relievers. Abad ran into some tough sledding last night, giving up a hit and a walk 1/3 of an inning. And Sergio Escalona took the loss last night. He didn't get an out in the game. Now 3 consecutive hits off Abad. There was a meeting of the relievers with Brad Mills before the game tonight. Gonzalez, Youkilis, and Reddick are the base runners. It's 1-2, and Bobby Jenks warming up for the Red Sox. Fly ball left. Gonzalez tagging. Michaels with a catch. Michaels with a throw to the plate. Gonzalez says the ball's cut off. Scores. Throw to third. Safe. And runners all tag up and move up a base. 6-3 Boston on a sac fly by Saltalamacchia for his 21st run batted in.
It's not going to be a play at the plate, so CJ did the right thing cutting that ball.
Probably maybe should have closed the distance a little bit, trying, to make it a quicker play.
Because he
shovel pass it almost.
Yeah, he could have gotten more on the throw, but in close proximity, you can't throw it too hard. But if you're closer, yeah, it wouldn't.
Field in. McDonald looks at ball 1. He's 0 for 3. Good base running. Even Reddick tagging up at first, moving to second. So that means a double play on the ground not in order for the Astros here. Two and 0.
Doesn't seem to be much of a strike zone anymore.
Last night, Bud Norris walked 4 in 6 innings, and the relievers walked 5 in the final 3. It's a high one to left field. If it's fair, it's gone easily, and that is a 3-run bomb. Darnell McDonald hits number 2, and the Red Sox open up a lot of space. 9-3 Boston. He just doubled his RBI total for the year.
Yeah, it's ironic with all the firepower in this Red Sox lineup. The home runs coming off the bats of Navarro, Yamaika Navarro, his first major league home run, and now McDonald juices one to left, way up on the train tracks.
9-3.
Where you are, that one's a homer.
Yes, it is. It's a home run at Petco Park.
Yes.
That was a go-home home run right there. A lot of folks heading to the exits.
Fireworks after the game, though. Rolled out the shortstop. Varmus with the throw to lead. Scudero grounds out, 2 down.
And a lot of the Astro fans just don't want to hang out and endure listening to the Red Sox fans cheer right now.
Yeah, that could be it. J.D. Drew comes out to the on-deck circle. Pitcher Spadu up next. Savas at 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, no strikes, no strikeouts, and Bard went 1/3 of an inning, no hits, no runs, walk 1, and no strikeouts.
One of those deals when the schedule comes out where the business people go, oh good, the Red Sox are coming to town. We'll put a lot of people in the ballpark. The baseball people are good. Geez, the Red Sox are coming to town. We're going to try to beat that club.
Yeah. J.D. Drew, 235 with 4 homers, 18 runs batted in as the pinch hitter. Takes a changeup for ball 1. Drew started last night's game, and he had a hit in 4 at bats, drew a walk. Been bothered by a black eye from fouling off a butt in batting practice.
He got the sweet spot there.
Drew fouls it, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two to Drew. He's been platooning with Mike Cameron, but Cameron has been designated for assignment by the Red Sox. Fernando Abad's out there without any backup right now. Rolled over, and Matt Downs gets it over to Carlos Lee. In the 8th inning, the Red Sox hang a 4-run frame on the Astros bullpen, and it's 9-3 Boston.
to see who made the team. We'll have that out in the morning and vote for who should get the 34th and final spot on each league roster. So a lot going on tomorrow with the All-Star teams coming out and also the voting for that 34th man. Brownie?
Selection show's on at 11 a.m. our time, isn't it, Greg?
Yes, it is in the morning, yeah.
Okay. Bobby Jenks comes out of the bullpen for Boston. He's 2-2. His ERA is 7.24. He's been on the disabled list until Tuesday. He was out with left back tightness. That was his second stint on the DL this year. Former White Sox closer who had a couple of saves in the 05 World Series against the Astros. And Jeff, I could still see Ozzie Guillen on the mound calling for Jenks to come in. They had a couple of right-handers, and he would put his arms way out far apart to signify he wanted the bigger right-hander coming in.
Yeah, that was fun. I remember sitting on deck, and he threw his first warm-up pitch, and I looked at Jason Lane, and I went, whoa. And he was throwing me 99-mile-an-hour cutters, and I had to sit in the room afterwards, and the media saying, "You think that you should have been up there?" I'm like, I don't care if Babe Ruth was up there. He wasn't hitting that night.
Jason Michaels, the batter, 9-3 Boston. That one goes to center field. One pitch, one out for Jenks.
And Jenks can still rush it up there. Not quite the way he did back in 05 with the White Sox when he was averaging about 97 miles an hour. That one clocked at 93.
Jenks was added through free agency to the bullpen mix, signing a 2-year deal for $12 million with the Red Sox last December. Chris Johnson, with his 8-game hitting streak on the line, 0 for 2 with a walk.
He's pretty much doing a Roger Clemens imitation, isn't he? His delivery?
Yes.
You know, he looks, especially with that Red Sox uniform on, but he looks just like the Rocket out there.
Not a bad guy to emulate.
No, yeah.
Oh, 2. Jenks gave up a homer to Ryan Howard Thursday at Philadelphia. Still a rain delay in Detroit. Still in the 3rd inning. 6-0 Giants.
Hang with him.
Yeah. Wow, that's a strikeout. CJ didn't realize it until right about now. 2 outs.
Kind of like what you were talking about earlier, with taking off the shin guard. I mean, just look away from that first base umpire like I'm not even concerned that I went. There's no way that I went.
Not a whole lot you can do at that point except play defense.
Well, that's one thing you can do. If I'm not getting any hits, nobody else is either.
Lynn Barmas is 0 for 3. Ball 1 upstairs. You come to the ballpark, Baggy, today, 29-54. Rough stretch. That's a real test of a professional, isn't it? Going through a season like this, trying to get things turned around, which we've seen before with this club.
Right. Well, I mean, it is tough, but you know that's part of your job too, is to go out and to be a professional. You get paid a lot of money to be out here, and every single fan that's in here would trade places with you in a heartbeat. So effort should never be a problem, and it hasn't been for this ball club. But that being said, it stinks to lose. Nobody wants to lose.
Especially the older players. And typically, I think when players first come to the big leagues, they just want to establish themselves in the big leagues. It's more fun to win than to lose, but you're just so consumed with trying to establish yourself as a big league player.
Well, yeah, my first year, we lost 97 games, and I don't.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, and I don't really remember anything. I just wanted to do my deal.
Fly ball to right center. McDonald underneath. Ellsbury calls him off. The 1-2-3 8th for Jenks. 9-3 Red Sox moving to the 9th.
800 Progressive today.
Anewi Rodriguez comes out of the Astros bullpen. It's 9-3 Boston. He is 0-4. His ERA 5.37. He'll be pitcher number 4 of the night for Brad Mills. Fernando Abad in 1 inning on 4 hits, 4 runs with no walks, no strikeouts. And Rodriguez warming up now to face the top of the Boston lineup in the 9th inning. Ellsbury, Pedroia, and Gonzalez due to hit for the Red Sox. And Wheeler's warming up for Boston.
Tomorrow afternoon, 1:05 ball game. Jordan Lyles will take another shot at his first major league win. But he's up against Josh Beckett. Should be fun.
The guy's still wide awake.
Ready to go.
Waiting up for those fireworks. Jordan Lyles will have that opportunity tomorrow to get that first big league win, and boy, Josh Beckett is pitching. That should be a very well pitched game if he can get it. Now it's Ellsbury with strike one. Jordan certainly pitched well enough to be a winner in the big leagues to this point. It can be elusive though. Chris Johnson chasing that foul ball. Won't get to it. It's no balls, 2 strikes. Ellsbury has a walk and a double and 2 runs scored tonight. They're in the top of the 9th in Minnesota. Twins leading the Brewers 7-4. One and 2. He talked about that first season, Jeff, in the big leagues, and 97 losses, but then the next year was a lot better.
Yeah, well, we were growing, as a club.
Strikeout for out number 1.
We had a lot of talent, a lot of young guys, played real hard. Took all of it to Art Howe, though.
Yeah, he was pretty patient with that bunch, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He's a great guy, and he was a great manager for us. He just kind of let us play, and that was fun. It was a fun time.
Ball 1 to Pedroia, who has 3 hits tonight.
Did you ever have a all-star manager call you in a year where you didn't make the team, that maybe you were snubbed?
No, I don't think so.
The reason why I asked, I was reading this article earlier today that Jason Stark wrote, and talking about the pressure that's on the all-star managers, trying to make the selections, and for the most part, they don't want the job. They don't want, He interviewed Tito and Charlie Manuel, both saying it's a hard job. You really, but apparently that's what Terry did. He called guys that he wasn't able to pick for the all-star team for one reason or another, and he felt so bad about it. He actually called guys and said, here's what I'm up against. I got to take a guy from each club. I got these kind of constraints on me, and just want to let you know you're deserving. I thought when I saw that, I said, man, that's a quality move.
It really is.
Well, it's tough with the All-Star game too, because you have to bring somebody from every team. So there are guys that are going to get snubbed just because there has to be somebody out there, with a different jersey on. Tito, he's a quality individual.
Well, we're expecting Hunter Pence to get the nod tomorrow. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Let's hope. Can't see any reason why he wouldn't.
Managers get 8 selections, I believe it is, JD.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Line drive, right field corner. That is bouncing and off the wall, staying in play. Gonzalez with hit number 3, and he makes it a double. He's 27.
Well, the thing about that too, JD, is they say they might not want that job, but when they were in the World Series the year before, I think they're okay with it.
They like the why they have the job.
Right.
Tito was willing to pass it off to the general manager. He said, let's let the general manager of the World Series teams. That's what they do. They put rosters together.
Good point. Gonzalez has tied Benjamin Zobrist for the Major League Doubles lead with that one. Now Kevin Youkilis 2 for 4.
So there's a lot of pressure to take your own guys. That would be the big concern for a manager.
No
If he leaves a couple of his own players home that are deserving, in terms of their performance. What Joe Torre had about 8 Yankees there when he was
saying the Yankees. Joe was pretty loyal.
He was. And a manager can't go wrong doing that.
No. Well, and you're dealing with the Yankees too, so it's not like there's not good players that are not deserving.
Two balls, no strikes. 34-man rosters now. Give the manager a little bit more.
It helps give you a little breathing room.
Brad Mills said he had not gotten a call about the Astros representative. 2 balls and a strike. But you can spend all day on the phone if you want to do that. Consult everybody you can think of, and probably wind up more tortured mentally than you were if you didn't call.
And a lot depends too. Like if you're Bruce Bochy, are you trying to put together a roster to win, or are you just trying to pick the most deserving guys?
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to put together a winning roster, you can understand where he said, okay, I got to take somebody off the Astros who's having good years over there. Well, Hunter Pence is probably having the best year. But look at it, Michael Bourne's having a pretty good year, and look what he could do for me. He could come in and steal a big base and help us win the game. And there's plenty of other good outfielders that do what Hunter do. There's a lot of guys hitting for high average and driving in runs.
Euclid smacks one into left field. Gonzalez sent home. And it's 10-3 on the RBI single. Euclid gets his 3rd hit, scoring Gonzalez. And the Red Sox do wear a pitching staff down.
Just keep coming and coming and coming. You had a bad swing on that fastball beforehand, probably tricked him into getting another fastball and laced it into left.
He did. He hit it hard. 10 runs on 13 hits for the Sox. Now Reddick. Reddick single to right. He looks at the change for ball 1. By the late innings, even though it's usually only 1 inning per reliever, they're so relentless. They can extract a toll on a pitching staff. A lot of pitches usually have to be thrown to get the Red Sox out in a game. Pop back, and it's a 1-ball-1-strike count.
It's too late in the ballgame now to try to establish territory. But when you got a team that comes in and swings the bat the way the Red Sox do, and they get into one of these grooves, not a bad idea to start straightening up some hitters, just to push back a little bit. And I'm not talking about headhunting, but just try to take the comfort level away a little bit.
Well, just to let them know you're still here.
Yeah.
It's 1-2.
I feel like there's been like 9,000 foul balls today.
Yeah. St. Louis is trailing 5-1 at Tampa Bay in the bottom of the 8th inning. Both the Cardinals and Milwaukee losing at the moment. Reddick's down on strikes, and in the 9th inning, the Red Sox add to their lead with a run on 2 hits. They leave a man, and it's 10-3 Boston. Astros will come up here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Red Sox making some changes. Drew Sutton is in the game at third base. And the pitcher, number 5 of the night for Francona, is Dan Wheeler, the former Astro, 1-1 with a 5.79 ERA, and he got that one win last night.
First year in a Red Sox uniform after pitching for Tampa Bay, after leaving Houston. Wheels had a nice career. Chance to maybe go to the postseason with the Sox. You know, he's the first Rhode Island-born pitcher to earn a win for the Red Sox since 1994.
Really? Who was that in 94, do you know?
I don't.
Okay.
Gonna find out, though.
Probably not that important in the scheme of things.
No, I was just going to classify that one under useless information right there. It's not your fault. It was on the screen, so it's not your fault.
It's the screen.
That's kind of what we're into, Baggy. Useless information.
Oh, let me see. Scott Bankhead was a Northeast guy, wasn't he?
Scott
He was on that
Bankhead.
club.
Yeah. Seems like he was.
Tony Fawcett.
Well, one Bankhead.
Strike to J.R. Tolles. He's 0 for 2 with a walk.
Chip away at the whole 94 Red Sox roster here.
Ken Ryan?
Ken Ryan. Yeah, he was on that team. Is he from Rhode Island?
Yes, we're guessing Ken Ryan.
He's just quicker on the Google than I am.
Yeah, he is.
We're just going to go with it, no matter if he was from Southern California. We're going with Ken Ryan.
No balls, 2 strikes.
He was born in Pawtucket.
Very nice.
I don't remember Ken Ryan. You guys remember him?
Yeah, pitched for the
Right-hander.
Phillies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big overhand curveball.
Mm-hmm. Threw pretty hard, didn't he, Baggy?
He did.
Wheels had quite a role in the Astros' successful years in 04 and 05, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He
King.
pitched outstanding for us.
And what a good guy. And from what I remember about him in 04, he had just joined the Astros, and there was some stuff going on with the Astros and Cubs, and he drilled somebody. I think it was his first game as an Astro.
I think you're right.
That's right. He got ejected.
Yep. And it kind of spoke to the character and the fact that he knew what had to be done. But it's not always that easy when you're just joining a ball club.
Here, yeah.
You have no idea the background here.
Right. Just thrown into a situation where you got to protect your teammates and you don't even know half of their names.
That was when the whole Roy Michael Barrett thing was going on?
Yes. Yep. Chuck Merriweather threw him out in Chicago August 29th. And saw a highlight today of Michael Barrett. He slugged somebody at home plate. I don't remember who it was now.
I can tell you exactly who it was. AJ
yeah,
Kavinsky.
yeah.
That's right. That's right. Exactly who it was. Yep. So he was somewhat of a belligerent sort, but those were fun days.
Yeah, but so was AJ.
Oh, yeah, AJ. If anybody was going to get punched at home plate, it's likely to be AJ Brzezinski.
Yeah.
Check swing roller. Wheeler will just run it on over. 1 out. And now it'll be Brian Bogusevic. Pinch hitter for Rodriguez. Rodriguez in 1 inning, allowing 2 hits, 1 run with no walks, 2 strikeouts. Bogusevic, the converted pitcher, has hit .214 for the Astros. 6 for 28. Looking for his first extra base hit, and as a pinch hitter, 4 for 16. He's done a pretty nice job, Baggy, for a guy who really hasn't been in this role before in the big leagues.
No, it's tough when you're a young kid and you get thrust into a pinch hitting role. I think it's the toughest job in the big leagues is to pinch hit. You know, it's just a mindset. It's just tough. Of course, Wheels throws one right at him.
He's used to having his 3 and 4 at bats a game.
It's tough, yeah. And he's having his 3 and 4 at bats when he's been in the minor leagues, and then he gets up here, and now he's just a pinch hitter. I say now he is a pinch hitter.
Mm-hmm. 1 ball, 1 strike, but from what we've seen of his at bats, he's pretty
done all
aggressive.
right, yeah. And well, you know, and the tough part too is when you're a young kid, you're going to be pinch hitting generally in the 8th or 9th inning, and generally you're facing the best 2 back into the guys in a lot of bullpen, so it makes it doubly tough.
Mm-hmm. Michael Bourne on deck. 2 balls and a strike for Dan Wheeler, who joined this club as a free agent after pitching for Tampa Bay.
Right.
Tampa Bay drafted Wheels back in '96.
Good slider. Maybe splitter, but we were talking earlier about conversations at first base. And I'm guessing somewhere along the line, when Wheels was pitching, guys would come down there and go, man, fastball's right there, but I can't hit it.
Yeah, and there's tons of guys like that, and those are guys that have been successful, and that's why he's been around a long time. He doesn't light up the radar his gun, his slider doesn't see, although that last one was a good one. Guys just can't square it up, and maybe, I've never faced Wheels, but maybe it's just they just don't see it often.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
Dave Clark had to dance out of the way of that.
Well, the old Gold Glove boxer still has the quick feet, can duck a punch.
Rope-a-dope.
Oh my God, that's so embarrassing. I want to show that to him tonight. Look, he's laughing too. He knows it's embarrassing. It's hard to miss that head too.
3-2. Washington got 2 in the 8th and is trying to split that doubleheader with Pittsburgh, leading 4-3 going to the 9th. Now the Red Sox were pretty well impressed by the Pirates. They just played them and lost 2 out of 3. But some of the questions we were hearing were along the lines of, will Clint Hurdle burn out his bullpen, because he's really been going to the whip quite a bit this year.
Hey, whatever it takes to finish 500.
Right.
A couple Tommy Johns.
Yeah.
Rolled out to first base. Gonzalez with the toss to Wheeler. 2 outs. Michael Bourne has 3 hits tonight. Triple in the first, singles in the 5th and 7th innings for Michael. "13 hits for the Red Sox, 9 for the Astros. Houston has left 7, with Boston stranding 4. And Wheeler was part of that bullpen in '05 that had no room for failure with that 15-30 start for that club, the way it was grinding out wins down the stretch. And an important contributor.
This guy our setup guy, wasn't he?
Yeah. And smacked into right center. Oh, Pedroia almost stopped it, but that was a bullet for hit number 4 for Michael Bourne.
What a night, huh? And every one of us been squared up.
Really
Nothing
has,
cheap
yes.
about any of his hits tonight.
Second 4-hit game of the year for Michael. That's the 5th time in his career he's had 4 hits. Matt Downs drew a walk in the 7th inning, pinch hitting for Angel Sanchez. That's called a swing, and it's strike 1.
There was no swings with that guy, that umpire at first for the first few innings. Now they're just rolling up.
Home plate umpire's got a tight zone, but first base umpire's compensating for it.
Swing and a miss as Michael Bourne goes to second base without a play. Ruled no stolen base, fielder's indifference. Michael leads the majors with 35 steals. Kobe Ellsbury leads the American League with 25. And Michael with a pretty healthy lead as he tries to surpass Gerald Young's club record.
Here's the record, Brownie.
65. Think he'll get it?
Yes.
I do too.
G. Young.
G. Young still lives here. You
Yes,
ever
he
see him?
does. I saw him at the golf tournament.
Okay.
He could go get him in the outfield.
Oh, it's long strides.
Pretty doing it.
Yeah. And he spent some time lifting weight. Foul back. Cesar Cedeno is the all-time leader for career, then Bidge. And there you have the list.
That guy shouldn't be on that list.
202. What a number. Great number for a first baseman.
I know. I congratulated Michael last week when he got 203 or whatever for passing me in something. Well, damn, I didn't know you had 202.
Smacked into center field. Michael will turn third and score on this one to make it 10-4. Downs with an RBI single.
And the comeback is on.
It'll be interesting to see about the playing time, though, of Matt Downs, because Brad Mills keeps talking about it.
2011, there were a subtitle for this season. It would be a year of discovery. Who can play? Who can't play?
Well, I mean, that's what you have when you have this kind of club and kind of like a rebuilding process, is just to find out who can play.
Right.
And that's how you move forward as an organization.
That's 22 RBIs for Matt, and he's had 88 at bats. And he takes second base without a play.
And that's I'm sure Downsy's appreciative of the fact that Michael took second because he got an RBI out of the deal. Now he's trying to do the same thing for Hunter.
Well, you just stay out of the force. It's the right play. You're not showing anybody up by doing that. And it's not your job when you're losing, 10-3 to just lay over. Now, if you're winning 10-3, you probably should not be taking that base.
Downs is 27. He's never really had steady major league playing time. So this might be his opportunity here in the second half. 2-0. The nice thing is he can play multiple positions.
Yeah, that is a benefit. The problem is he's doing so good pinch hitting. That might be his MO now.
True. Fly ball to right center. McDonald looks out to Ellsbury. McDonald has it. And in the ninth, the Astros get a run on 2 hits. They leave a man. The Red Sox have won for the second straight night here at Minute Maid Park. Final score: Boston 10, Houston 4.
You got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really? Wow, how about that?